Hold on. Okay. The guy just got me a sound engineer willing to come and work for us.
Oh, nice.
Okay, we should be live now.
Okay.
Anyways, do you have any music we can
There we
play from
go.
that computer?
Well, let me see if I can play something.
See if we can play something from here.
Yeah, I don't know if I've gotten anything on this computer.
Yeah. Off, okay.
Evangelism is not for the weak, all right? I should know. I wrote a whole book about it, self-published. Most Christians, they are just good for bake sales and potluck dinners. But I'm telling you this right now, it takes a lot of moxie to grab a non-believer by the shirt collar and throw him in the front doors of a church and say, hey, try living out your heathen life in front of a holy God that way. It is like holy water on a vampire. That's divine intervention, my friend.
Repent, for the kingdom of the Lord is nigh. Come to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Well, sir, it sounds like you're really passionate about Jesus.
I am. And you should also be
Okay.
passionate about the Lord.
Sir, if there's...
You need to get sanctified or chicken fried.
Can we...
You need to get with the Lord or drive a Ford.
Sir, we...
Get right or get left.
I share my faith. Okay, that's a lie. People don't even know I'm a Christian. I want to. Again, another lie. I hardly shower, much less have the will to do anything else. Okay, now if there was pizza and ice cream every time there was faith sharing, I'd do it. That's a lie. I'm lactose intolerant. Again, another lie. I'm just too cheap to buy dairy. Bottom line, sharing my faith makes me sweaty. Tip number 95, use big church words like transubstantiation. Heathens get confused easily, and the more confused they are, the more ashamed they are. The more ashamed they are, the more apt they are to make a decision for Jesus Christ.
I believe it's a responsibility, no. The privilege, no. The glorious privilege of every believer to share their faith with others. That's why I share my faith with everyone I come in contact with.
Everyone, really?
Yeah, everyone.
How do you do that?
Check out my shirt. Can't read it? Try this glove. Not working for you? How about this bracelet? No comprendo? Vistazo a estos. Driving behind me? Read my bumper sticker. Says, it's okay if you follow close. I'm going to heaven. Oh, you're my waiter or waitress? I got a tip for you. Surprise! It's the gospel. I mean, what do you want, money or eternity? I also use these tracks.
So, what about talking to people about your faith?
I don't really like people, but I love Jesus. Scripture mint? Hi, my name is George.
And I'm Jorge, and together we're George and Jorge.
Right. What we like to do is to take secular songs and reprogram them.
Yes, the purpose is for evangelism. We like to take songs to the unbelieving world and make it believable.
Right. Let us give you a sample right now.
Hey, lost sinner, I just have to ask you, what makes you tick? What is it? You're headed to H-E double hockey sticks.
Hey, lost sinner, why don't you just give it all up to Jesus?
Tonight, pray for your soul today, for your soul today. Just pray.
I was a freshman in college the first time I invited someone to church.
My best buddy called me. I was working at a grocery store. I was in the back cutting carrots, and my buddy called me.
And I just said, hey, do you want to go to church with me tonight? And I remember his words. He said,
Sure, I got nothing better to do. And I went to church with him. And you know, I went there because they were serving pizza that night. I don't remember what was said. I don't remember what was sung.
during the services, I remember praying for him and just asking God to please reach out and touch his heart or do something, because I knew he needed Jesus. And then God answered my prayers.
That night changed my life, September 17th, 1987. It changed my life because I realized I needed a Savior.
Well, hello everyone. Thanks for joining us today here this evening with the CC Live, a great event. Really happy to be here with Rick, my new friend.
New friend.
A new friend. I just met here at church, but we got close pretty fast.
Yes, we did.
Rick,
Hi, guys.
thank you so much for coming in. Rick is going to share his story, but first, I want to welcome everyone. We're very, very excited to be here tonight. We're going to talk about evangelism. I mean, we're going to unpack this whole thing. Evangelism is a big word, and being a Christian for, pretty much my whole life, honestly, it's still a puzzle. You know what I mean? When you look at it as a Christian, evangelism start to scare people sometimes. And Rick has a great story. We're going to share about that later. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad we can have this talk.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
And we can have this talk with all these people with us. I mean, we got Adam, which I believe you know him. Adam is online. Adam from Toledo, Ohio. Thanks so much for joining us. That's so great. Sean Crum is with us. He's watching right now. Philip Sampson is watching also. I got new friends here. Let's see, you got a Gabriel Warden. Gabriel is a new family that just arrived in Cincinnati.
You said from Brazil.
From Brazil. They're watching right now.
Do you know people from Brazil?
Just few.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I know a few of them, but man, we got Lisa. Do you know Lisa?
I know Lisa.
I'll say, well, so we got the people that we know already connected, plugged in, and I'm so glad. And as I say every time, make sure to share. Click right now. Right now, I'm looking here. There's only 3 shares, so I want to see everybody sharing this.
And 2 of them are from us.
Exactly. So let the family and friends know what you're watching. That's one great step for evangelism, right? So many people. So we're going to jump right into it here. We got Dale. Dale just joined us. Kim Wright just joined us. So glad to see you guys here joining us for this. It's so good to see the church family being part of this CC Live and from their homes, they be able to kind of have church. We can have church together. Natalie's here. Natalie is joining us online, and I got 2 computers here. It's like a control center. I can try to talk to everybody. And again, feel free to send your questions. Feel free to talk to us as we unpack evangelism. So before we get into it, let's get to know a little bit about Rick. Let's just get to know him a little bit.
Well, I am married. I am retired just recently in April. We have, Lisa and I have 5 children, and they are age 20, they'll be 22 next Tuesday, all the way to 28 years old. So 3 boys and 2 girls. Happy to be in Cincinnati.
Well, Rick has a fantastic story. And instead of me just saying it, let's take a look at your story.
We moved in here in December of 2014, and it was over the winter. We hadn't met our neighbors yet. And we waited until the spring and finally met some wonderful people that we got to be friends with. And we were going to Christ Church, and we love going there. We love all the people there. And we thought we would love to invite our neighbors. So we prayed about it, and one by one we asked our neighbors to go. And I was most surprised by their response. They said, sure, we'd love to go. Or we've tried another church in the area, and we'd love to try this one.
I just saw him. He was decorating his front yard, I think, with football stuff, and he invited me to this football party, and I like football. So I think that's how it started.
There's just something about Rick where, he's real easygoing, makes you feel, at home when you're around him, and you can be yourself, and it's real easy to just be comfortable around him right away from the beginning.
I think each neighbor was a little bit different. So it wasn't just a group conversation where we said, hey, everybody should go to church with us. If I was having a deeper conversation with one of them, they were going through some stuff, and I would say, you know what, I really think that you should go to church with us. You really need God in your life right now to just be able to help you through this. That's how I've gotten through everything in my life, is by having a relationship with God.
We've all been approached by somebody who comes on to us way too strong with something. They saw that we genuinely enjoy these people. We genuinely like hanging around with them, and they knew that was an important part of our lives, and they liked who we were, and they said absolutely they would go. So absolutely, you have to get to know people.
I feel like I was asked a lot of times, probably very hesitant. No. I was raised Catholic. We had a church that we went to. And so to step outside of that was a little uncomfortable.
I actually remember him inviting me to the small men's group on Saturday mornings at Panera at like 7 a.m., which is like, what? You want me to get up at 6:30 and go to a men's group at Panera at 7 a.m.? I turned that down a couple times, but then I finally went, and it was actually really cool.
He mentioned that he was part of this church, and I wanted to check it out. So we went. I went by myself, actually, the first time. and I liked it. I mean, Trevor had a great message. It's almost like he was speaking right to me, you know. It really hit home. And then, you know, I actually got my wife to go, and she, you know, she's not even baptized yet. And it was just great because she was really into it.
Me and my wife, we were looking for a different church to belong to, and and back in, I believe, March, it was our first time, and we just loved it immediately.
It was great. I enjoyed it. I really did. It was unexpected, and that isn't in a bad way. It was great. I really enjoyed it. I didn't feel stressed out. I really could pay attention. I listened. I took it all in. I felt like I could relate.
Okay, so I got baptized the first weekend in July. That was the day after I went to my first men's group meeting, and then my wife and my daughter both got baptized a couple weekends ago, and it was one of the greatest feelings I've seen or experienced. And my daughter's she was this happy, and then my wife, you know, she's made some changes in her life as well, and was just getting a fresh start.
There's always a fear of asking somebody to church. And I don't know what the fear really is, if it's a fear of getting rejected, or we had developed a nice relationship with them. Would the relationship go away if we thought that if they felt intimidated by us asking them to church? So there's always a fear of asking somebody to church, but we just did it, and their response was very nice. They said, yeah, and they came.
Well, that's great. That is amazing.
Thank you. Fun to watch.
I mean, tell me again, how many people in your neighborhood?
I didn't know, but somebody asked me the other day, and they said, oh, no, we need a number. So we counted it up, and with the parents and the kids, it was 23.
Wow.
Just in the local neighborhood.
Well, let's jump into this conversation in just a sec. Before we get in there, we got tons of people that join us during the video, okay? So I want to welcome everyone again. If you just join us during the video, I'm glad you're here. Go to Facebook or live.ourchristchurch.com, ask questions, make a comment, and share. Make sure to share in your page, on your page, all the video. Make sure to share the live broadcast. Let everybody know where you're watching. Welcome, Trevor. It's overseas, and he's watching us right now. And good to see you here, Trevor, our pastor. We got Chad, Ryan. I mean, a lot of people just join us today. So, Rick, tell me here, what is the big deal about evangelism?
Well, you saw some of the people in the video, and hopefully their neat personalities came through. Lisa and I just love these people right away. We really moved into a neat neighborhood of just a fun group of people that we enjoyed getting to know right away. And we got to build a relationship with them. It was fun connecting with them.
So again, it's kind of interesting. You mentioned the word relationships. So being in the church for a long time, I have the impression that sometimes, we first get to become a Christian, and then we go to church, and we get hit with the word evangelism. We need to go out and evangelize. So do you think sometimes that becomes more like a to-do list, and we feel like it's more like a job instead of it's not like that.
It's this impossible task that you have to check the box and just can't do. Mm-hmm. And really, I think I've really seen two phases in my own Christianity. I became a Christian, and other people evangelized. Mm-hmm. That was for the minister or other people that were just good at it. I didn't have the gift of evangelism. Frankly, I'm surprised to be sitting here today talking with you today about evangelism. I don't know that I'm an expert. But I waited for other people to do this at some point in my Christianity. And then there was a point where I said, you know what? I think I'm responsible for this. I feel it's my job to go out and do that.
So again, okay, so it's your job to go out, evangelize, and take the word, and the word of God out. That's right. That's great. I like that. But in real life, what does it look like? I mean, we saw the video in the beginning, all the strategies that, let's call it that you can use to evangelize. It doesn't seem to work. Why do you have 23 of your neighbors here in church today?
Well, I think it's because we cultivated the relationship with them. These are people we genuinely enjoyed, and we wanted to hang with, and we hope that they kind of wanted to hang with us. And we genuinely enjoyed the relationship, growing it, making it deeper, playing games with these people. And our relationship with God was key to us. We ended up loving these people. And when you love somebody, you want to say, hey, this is very important to me, and I really do enjoy you. I would like to expose you to this. And they knew that that was important to us. And at first, you think about, do we ask them? Is it going to impinge on the relationship? What will they say? Will it destroy the relationship? And so we just decided to ask and say, hey, we'd love to have you come to our church. This is the time that we have services. And we had a very good response from folks.
So I imagine it's almost impossible to take that strategy without being somewhat aggressive. And that might not be
strike
the right
somewhat.
word.
You have to be aggressive.
But tell me here, at what point in the relationship do you feel comfortable? Give us some guidance on that. I mean, I imagine it's not the first time you sit for dinner at home and it's like, yay, let's eat. And by the way, here we go to church. You need to go to church with us. I don't imagine it's right there in that moment.
Yeah, no way.
So at what point in the relationship would say, now we can't talk about church?
Probably past the point we should have.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
That
right.
is good.
Yeah.
That's the point we should have.
Yeah, you can't do it right away, because then you're coming on to somebody.
Yeah.
There's got to be some benefit of going to church. And I think, again, the people saw that we genuinely enjoy them. We genuinely enjoyed our kids, that there was some benefit in the relationship to them just by being friends with us. We certainly benefited from them. And we prayed about it and decided to ask them. But we had to develop that relationship first. I don't know that I believe all these stories where somebody says, I met this guy at the gas station and led him to Jesus. How superficial was that, or how is that going to stick? No. And we again, this is important to us. We wanted to share it with people that we've ended up loving over the last several years. And again, I've appreciated their response.
Well, leading online campus here at Christ Church, and we had a little bit of experience. We're starting live officially this Sunday. But just having these encounters here online and at church on Sundays, I really start to discover that the advantage of the relationship is that you can actually meet people where they are. I think when you start a relationship, you don't know what they're going through. So based on your experience, I imagine that 23 neighbors was 23 situations. And you have to kind of get to know them, and they have to get to know you. How did you feel getting yourself into those lives to then, because 23 different situations led them to one place, church?
Well, I'll tell you, we're thrilled if the number's just one. The number's 23, but we're thrilled that it was just one. And I'll tell you what, we're not done. There's a lot more people that we have identified that we'd love to have come to church, and some we failed with at this point. Oh no, or I'll go if my partner goes. That type of a thing, and we haven't talked the partner into coming with us. So we're midstream in that whole thing.
Can you give me an example? And again, you don't have to mention names, but can you give me an example of a story that started with a situation with a person and led into the situation of, okay, there's somebody that can help, there's someone that can help, and that's Jesus. Do you have a story like that?
Well, yeah, I do. And if you have a relationship with Jesus, you know the benefits, and you know everything that you would like to share instantly with people that you love. And I remember talking to someone, and I talked to them, and I said, listen, there's an event that's happening, and I would like to ask, I'm risking here, I'd like to ask you to this event, and I'd like to have you say yes. Would you do that for me? And I felt that we had enough of a connection, and we had the relationship to where I could ask that. And they said, yeah, if it means that much to you, Rick, I'll go to this event. Okay. So I like your term aggressive before. I mean, again, it's not for other people to do. I think we're called to be a touch more aggressive maybe than we are today.
Good. I have here already on Facebook. I have one question from Shannon Foot. She said, Rick, what would you say to someone who's scared to invite their friends as they don't feel comfortable because they don't feel they have all the answers. So people are going to ask you, people ask questions, to you. Did you come across at a moment like, I don't have all the answers for this?
No, I just made them up, Joey. Actually, I just made up answers. No, and I don't think you ever
That's
have
your
all...
aggressive part.
Yeah. I don't think you ever have all the answers. And all we're called to do is just ask. And I'm amazed by... I met a guy the other night. I was walking through my neighborhood and thought, should I talk to this fellow? He's sitting out on his backyard patio. And I thought, no, I don't want to bother him. I don't know what he's doing. I don't want to bother him. It's kind of late at night. And I thought, what the heck? I'll just go over and start talking to him. Found out his wife died 4 weeks ago. And we talked for an hour. And it was a wonderful conversation. I thought, I'll ask this guy. I'll try. And I said, I go to this neat church. I would love to have you come. And he goes, you know what? I've been on my knees a lot lately. I would consider going to your church. And he said, Rick, you've been bugging me about coming to these football parties. I'll come to those, and I'll come to the one next Saturday or next Sunday. I can't come this week, but I'll come next Sunday. So a lot of times God is already working on someone. I think you need to pray beforehand, then just ask him. And I've been amazed that God is already working in people's lives sometimes before I'll even ask. And that's been neat to see.
Well, how can you describe the biggest challenge that you had inviting someone to church? Can you think about that? Can you remember?
Yeah, well, some people I've gotten very close to, and I, for whatever reason, I just didn't feel right about asking them. And I had one of my friends say, hey, could you talk to this guy? And he said, yeah. And he developed a relationship with this person. Mm-hmm. And so the other guy talked to him about some things. And he said, listen, I'm bringing a friend of mine, and the type of relationship we have doesn't let us talk about me inviting him to church. Will you ask him, or will you invite him to our men's group? And so we kind of tag teamed. That was a tough one.
Yes. And that's a good point there that we can connect with. When we interviewed some of your neighbors, they mentioned that the first invitation was not necessarily a church service, but was men's group or your house. So what's the importance of those special events they're smaller, they're more intimate? How do you feel they fit better for?
Well, they have to be fun. There has to be some, as I said before, there has to be some benefit in doing this stuff. I think a lot of Christian people don't cuss, follow Jesus, and then they just live these lives and think that that's attractive to people. No, that's not attractive to people. They're not going to come up to you and say, wow, you're amazing. I want to be like you. No, I think you have to be fun to people. And so we tried to set up fun events that would attract people to coming in and have a nice time. And hopefully you get to know people at those events, and then it leads to more. But I think it's very easy to see need. We all have great ideas where we say, I should do that. And how many of those things do we really do? But if you just did one of them, if you said, you know what, you sound like you need this, or you need to talk, let me just sit here and talk with you. Or you said you need me to watch your kids. Or, what is something that you can give, if you're truly others focused, what is something that you can give to the other person so that you can develop that relationship, not for the sole purpose of just trying to win another number to get them to church, but to develop that relationship and be of benefit to people so that you can have the wherewithal to develop the relationship and then hopefully see where it goes.
Well, I think right now we have established that relationship is the way to do it, the way to start that process of bringing someone to church or lead someone to Christ. Let's talk about the first impression, meaning when you walk with a person for the first time in church. And I like this subject because as we're shooting those videos, one person actually brought up a great example was the check-in for kids. I mean, she was like, so I get this sticker, put in my kid, I have one, and I mean, this was completely new to her. And in a way, he was scared. She was scared, like, I'm going to leave my kid here in this room. So tell me a little bit about handling that first impression when somebody comes to church and they're not comfortable. How do you guide them through that?
Well, I think there's a couple of first impressions you make. The first impression just in the relationship we were talking about before, and that's key. I mean, you have to be likable. And there are people that are likable and people that aren't.
And that creates trust.
Yes.
I would think that.
Yes,
that
and
helps.
some people aren't likable. You know who you are. And if you aren't likable, fake it. So I think you have to engage people and present yourself in a likable way. And when Ashley was talking about
Yes.
bringing her kids to church, that was new to me. I didn't know. I wasn't there when she checked in
Yes.
the kids. But some of those things you just kind of have to rely on faith that the wonderful people here at the church will take care of all that stuff. But you know what was really important was that her kids liked what they had gone to that day.
Okay.
And it's a neat answer, yes, when she asked them, hey, did you guys enjoy your time? Well, yes, I did, Mom. Would you like to come back next week? Yes, I would. So we were hoping that they would say that, and that certainly helps.
Has anything changed at this point in the relationship? Meaning, do you still do the same things, the same gatherings with your neighbors?
Yeah, they've gotten better, actually. We not that they were bad. We do wonderful things with them and really enjoy each other. We enjoy playing games. They've gotten to know more of our circle. There's more friends that we have that know our neighbors, and they are. We have a large group of friends, and we entertain several nights a week and just love doing that with our neighbors, with other church people, with non-church people. It's just a fun, it's gotten bigger, and we're pretty busy with a lot of the entertaining we're doing, and we're having a ball doing it. We're seeing God work in a lot of different ways, which is neat to see.
So you have not stopped yet? So you,
No.
You're not done.
We'll stop a moment after we're dead. But we haven't stopped because we're having a ball doing this. I mean, we have, it has been neat to see God work in people's lives in a real way, and there's nothing more exciting than that. I think there are two kinds of people out there, people that are going to heaven and people that are going to hell. And if you can be any part of bringing somebody into heaven, that's a very loving thing. And this is what I want for everybody that Lisa and I love, is to expose them to this. Not to get a number or anything like that. It's to expose them to the joy that we found in having a relationship with Jesus.
Do you think that Christians in general, when they hear the word evangelism, they think globally and not locally?
Yeah, that's often a couple of things. They think globally. They think missions. They think, okay, I've got to do something in Africa. Boy, I hope God doesn't send me to Africa. That kind of a thing. And I think they also think too much. They think, I need to meet a guy at the gas station, our example before, and instantly convert him to Jesus. No, any little step. I think if somebody is drowning next to you in a boat, you're either giving them a life preserver or stepping on their head. You know, there's two ways you can take something. So any little thing that you can do for someone, people appreciate. You hold a door open for somebody and they appreciate it. So any little thing you can do for somebody is appreciated, whether or not they say it.
Yes. I think it's interesting. We got into a new season here at Christ Church as we launched the online campus. So we have here the CC Live. We've done so many live events now, and getting people to kind of become more familiar with what we're doing and why we're doing. And I think one aspect of the live church here at Christ Church is that we don't want the service online to be the final destination for someone. Because in reality, there's not much church in itself, right? I mean, you can worship with us, you can do all that, but there's something missing, and that's community. And I think one opportunity that we are opening for people that are going to connect with us through the online campus is what we call the house campus. So these are people that live far away from Christ Church, other states or countries, but they identify with us as their home church. But they cannot be here every Sunday. It would be quite a commute. So we started the house churches initiative, meaning people can be far away and still be part of Christ Church. And the way they do it is only, three aspects of it. One is worship together. So we'll come every Sunday, 10:30, to worship together. The second one is grow together, meaning Bible studies. So we're going to make available to all house churches the access to what we have called Right Now Media. Right Now Media is a library of Bible studies that people can do online, and we can follow up with them. So that's growing together, so they can get together in their living rooms during the week and study the Bible together. And they can do all that online. And then the third one, which that's where comes evangelism, is serve our community together. So these people are worshiping in their houses, they're studying the Bible in their houses, and now they're going to go out and they're going to serve together their local community, that's the one aspect of doing community. Let me ask you this. How important do you think it is for people to have this mindset of, I need to step out of my comfort zone and get to know people? I mean, like when we talk about the house church like I just described, and we're already starting with 2 house churches this weekend, how important it is for the people that are watching us right now from those house churches tonight, how do you encourage them to like get out of your comfort zone and go meet people, because you're going to meet them where they are and you're going to help them because you have the message?
Mm-hmm. Well, a couple of things. Number one, it's got to be some benefit. I'm kind of listening to you and I'm thinking, what's the benefit? There has to be a benefit to watching what we have. And I think our church is a neat church. We have a very good music program and very good message. So I think it has a very resonating message with what you need right now in today's society. I think it's apropos and it's applicable to what people are going through. That's the comments I hear back from people. So we really have something neat. So there is something neat. And I know that if somebody invites somebody to a 10:30 Eastern time service, that they'll be blessed by the content of what they would see. So, and I was reading a story in the Bible with regard to God giving, or Jesus talking about a landowner giving talents, and then coming back after time and saying, okay, you had 5, what did you do with the 5? I got 5 more, okay, good, you got 10, that's wonderful. And there's a guy who had 2, and he got 2 more, so he had 4 now, so that's wonderful. And there was a guy who had 1, and he said, basically, I was afraid of you, so I buried it, and then I brought it back because I knew you were coming back to town, here's the 1. And Jesus had some very harsh language. You lazy slave. Take this away and be banished into where there is moaning and gnashing of teeth.
Yes.
And I thought, those are some of the harshest words I've ever read in the Bible. So even Jesus was not content with just staying still, with just sitting there, with just sitting on our couch. So 2 things. Number one, if you take a little bit of a risk, I think we're called to take a little bit of a risk. Not a huge risk, just a little bit more than what you're doing. And you know what that is. Everybody knows I could do a little bit more. I will tell you, there's a tremendous reward. There's nothing neater than seeing somebody grow, or somebody say, well, yes, I would like to go with you. You would? Really? I didn't know that you would say yes. So there's a neat benefit in seeing somebody go with you. Then you're nervous the whole service. Oh, I hope they like it. And you don't even concentrate on the service sometimes yourself because you're all worried about your friends sitting there. And when they say, boy, that was really good, or it was so neat to see those people in the video, Mike especially, say, it really meant something to me. He was speaking to me. It's like, wow, I really enjoy Mike. I'm so glad he got something out of the service. This went better than I thought it could have. But you know what? We could be watching a video of nothing tonight because I could have never asked Mike to church because I was afraid, and I wouldn't get the joy in seeing what he was saying about our service. So there's a tremendous, and you might have to, in sales we would always say 10-3-1. You ask 10 people to get 3 sales meetings to make 1 sale. So you may have to ask a couple of people, and some people may say no, and that's okay. But other people may say yes, and that's a delight when they do. And then when they like it, it's even better. So that's neat.
I love that you said it's worth to take the risk. Again, we're talking about someone's salvation, maybe. So it's worth to take that risk, to share the gospel, to talk with them, to develop their relationship, because we're going to lead them to Christ. And that's worth it all.
Yes.
So it's worth to be aggressive. It's worth to take the risk. It's worth to be out, to go out, get to know people, learn about their stories. Everybody has a story. And here's the most important thing on that, is that we can impact them with our own story. Sometimes we get so concerned about not sharing our own story or become vulnerable. And there's a reason why God gave us that story. So that story can lead others to get to know him. So we got to be more aggressive. We have to get out more. We have to get to know people. I'm telling you, one of the things that it seems so simple and has created a great impact in me just by watching. It's going out to eat with Trevor. And there's no one time that we've been out in a restaurant and and the waiter, the waitress come in, and the first thing he does is like, "What's your name?" And he asks her name, and they have this conversation. And at the time we're going to pray for our meal, he's praying for her. And that to me is like, okay, that's so intentional about caring for people. That's such a good example to me of how far you would go to care for people. To go to a restaurant where you don't know that person, and you ask for her name or his name, and you pray for them. So I think we got to go and be aggressive. I think we got to go and not be afraid to get to know people. And man, I thank you so much for coming here and sharing your story.
You're welcome. This was fun.
I thank you so much. It was very encouraging to me personally. It really was.
Thank you.
And I hope it was encouraging to you watching at home. Again, starting this Sunday, 10:30 a.m. is our first official live broadcast. We're very excited about it. We're excited about our house churches. They're starting in Toledo, Ohio, and Cleveland, Ohio. And they're going to be joining us live, and they already start inviting some friends to come and join in. And I want to ask you all to pray for us. Pray for all that God is going to do through the church here, through the online campus, through all the ministries here at Christ Church. We're very excited about it. I'm very thankful that you came here and you share your story. I want to thank everyone here. I mean, I just got a big list of people. Good friends here, Paul Thicker. He's from Indianapolis. He joined us here. I got other friends from Indianapolis. I got friends from Brazil. Eduardo and Anderson Sirac. Those are good friends they're watching from Brazil right now. And I'm so glad everybody joined us tonight. I hope that helped you as much as it helped me. And I ask you to continue to pray. Join us. Join the conversation. This video is going to be available on Facebook immediately after the broadcast. And you can go to live.ourchristchurch.com and get into the programming, the regular programming there that we have daily with the videos from our church services. Rick, thanks so much, man.
Thanks, Joey.
I really appreciate it. I hope to see you this Sunday with us here at church, 9 and 10:30 a.m. or on online campus at 10:30 a.m. this Sunday. I'll see you all later. Thank you.